Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to SEO Happy Hour episode. Today I have a very special guest. It's Adelina Bordea. I really wanted to pronounce your surname well,
Great.
so let me know if I did it or if I mess up. But thank you so much for joining. I really had a very nice conversation with you in our initial call, and I think like the big topic that came out of call was just like how to in this like hectic world that like we are just like rushing, like we are so ambitious, just like get a new job, be ambitious, chase a career goals, and like everything is just like impacting us or mental level, how to actually slow down and motivate our body and mind to take a rest that we just needed. So I'm so happy that we are doing this episode. So for people who don't know me, I am Adrijana Vujadin, head of SEO and coach for SEO professionals. One of my coaching parts are actually doing this mindset SEO Happy Hour podcast, where we are talking about, I think, what is really matter in our life, because all these like technical content, backlink strategies, issues, in the end of the day, for me, don't matter, because what matter most are ourselves, our mind, and our body. So, Adelina, thank you so much for joining. Let us know your SEO journey, how it go, and then we will move to our core topic. Adelina, welcome to the stage.
Hi, Adriana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. You don't know how much.
Ah,
First of all, you did pronounce it perfectly, so great. And yeah, let me just think about this because I didn't start in the marketing world. I started as a translation and interpreting student. And then I moved to the tourism sector. And from that, I started in marketing. First of all, with social media and inbound. And then there I actually discovered SEO, which has been, my path for the last like 6 years or so. And I'm currently working at 3P Company, and I'm based in Malaga, Spain. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
nice. I was in Malaga 2 years ago. So lovely there. So okay, so how you are motivating yourself to slow down when everyone and everything is just encouraging, go chase your goals, have a big career, like do all these kinds of things. I really need to achieve everything this year. And what's like all the take big projects, big titles, like how is this like possible to slow down? Because we are so afraid that if we are slowing down, that will impact our career and goals that we are chasing. So
Mhm.
how did you do that, and what we can recommend people who are listening to this?
Yeah, so this is a great question. And actually, I forgot to also mention that I'm a freelancer at the same time that I work for a company in house as an SEO specialist. And I must say that I'm finding this out a lot, but my body and mind made me stop at a certain point because last year I was working with several clients. I had my current job. I also was studying a master's degree, and my body was all sore all the time. I felt like I was sick all the time. I didn't have time, for anything but working and studying. And you don't want to reach to that level, believe me. It's
Mm,
frustrating. You don't do anything like 100% right, so you have to be aware of all this. But that was my starting point. So when I realized that I needed to rest and I needed to slow down and also have time for my family, for my friends, for my hobbies and the things I love, then it just was crystal clear for me, actually. And I started to practice a lot of things I loved. I started to go back to my hobbies, and I realized that if I slow down, then I'm even more productive. How about that? So all of a sudden, I was just like, well, it's like having a break or going out on a Saturday. It's not something that is counterproductive, but absolutely the opposite. It's going to help me be more focused, understand better what I'm looking at, make better decisions, and also feel that I'm part of something. Because as much as you want to work all day and as much as you love your job, I told you this on our previous conversation as well. If you do that all the time, 100% of the time, and you do nothing else, it will break you. Like there will be a certain time that you are just going to stop loving it.
Yeah. It happened to me actually 2 years ago. I was just like all day, everything I did was about my work. Doesn't matter if it's just like working for my job. If not, then I'm learning. I'm taking like additional courses about the
Yeah.
SEO. If it's not about SEO, then I'm learning about Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, then PPC, and like whatever I do, I just like do for the job. And then basically I didn't have like any activity besides that, and of course it break me through like to the like ground. That's I
Mhm.
really wanted to like give up about the SEO, give up the job. Like basically I was thinking like I'm coming my mom to Bosnia, even like I did everything to move to Dublin. So have you faced the moment of the burnout, or like that moment when you realize, because you know what is happening, like people can't just realize, okay, I really need the rest for my mind and body. Even like we are talking about all these things, and now that I'm aware that when I'm resting, I'm making the impact, like even bigger impact for my career, for everything. But how to actually practically motivate people to do that? Because the only way when they are doing that is when they are like in the lowest point of their life.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that I wasn't burned out. I was about to be burnout. I was
Mm,
very close to burnout because you know, it's not okay to not having any free time for you or for what you like. It's something that sooner or later is just going to, as I said, is going to break you, is going to make you feel like your only purpose in life is your work, your job. And the bad thing about marketing and SEO is that there's always something new to learn. And Google is constantly moving things and it's constantly doing new things and whatever. Or we have new tools, or but um, a certain way to motivate myself started when I felt like I wasn't able to love my job anymore because I was tired, of doing SEO all the time, or SEO copywriting, or something related to SEO. So that actually scared me very much because I love what I do and I don't want to stop loving what I do. It's the same as, for example, if you spend too much time with a friend. It's exactly the same. After 2 months, 3 months, everything maybe it's okay, but after 4 years of being with that person 24/7, it's just going to make you feel weird about that person, and that person is going to feel weird about you, right? And there's another topic that you actually mentioned, and it's about being productive and getting our careers right. And here I want to introduce the concept of doing this right, also being a woman, because we also need to prove much more, and we need to do better, and we need to do more and more and more. So um, nowadays there's a hustle, a hustle
culture.
environment,
Mhm.
a hustle culture, exactly. That applies to everybody, but especially to women that want to build something big with their lives. We have that extra mile that we have to run. So I think that we need to understand that maybe only by taking that rest, and only by being able to do what we love in the matter of hobbies, or being with that people that we actually like or care about, we are going to be able to learn about new things and to apply I don't know, new ideas to our job. And that's one of the things that motivated me to understand that if I go with new people, if I meet new people, if I go to that event that maybe another time I wouldn't go because I would be studying for Google Analytics or whatever, a new tool, right? Was a waste of time. So right now, maybe that event that is about, I don't know, it's a yoga class, or it's any kind of, not related with SEO or marketing event, is going to help me meet new people. It's going to help me improve, for example, my way of speaking, my way of relating myself with other people. Is going to say something that is going to click in my mind, and I can apply it later to one of my projects. So this is one of my motivations, and the other one is just feeling good. Like, that
Mm-hmm.
has no price. You just feel great. And
Yeah.
maybe the order, it depends on the day. Sometimes just feeling good is much more important for me than, applying some idea to a big SEO project or whatever. It As you said before, my job is important. I love what I do, but my mental health and my body health is even more important, because without that, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you know what is happening? Like, people value themselves by the amount of work they have done today, or like in a day, and how many courses, new learnings, new video channels, new newspapers, like, and like SEO task they have done in a day.
Mhm.
And when they need to go to the event, to do any kind of extra activity, then they are not valuing that activity as the value that they are having in the day. And that is actually, that is a value. Even you are going out for a walk, to the gym, doesn't matter. That's the also adding value to your life. And in that moment, you are not having any kind of like work life balance, because in order to have work life balance, you need to even like push activities, because that
Mhm.
activities will distract you
Mhm.
from the
Yeah.
work, and you will get that kind of mental boost to doing something else. But why, what do you think, like, what is the main reason, like, why people are not seeing the value in doing anything else than just like working on their projects, and like that is something that will increase their careers?
hmm So, first of all, I have been there, and my value was totally related to how many hours have you worked today, or how many Saturdays you didn't go out because you were working or whatever. In my case, I think that happened because my entire life I've been working with startups, and that mindset. It's hustle, 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 and you have to do that, and you have to reach that, and it doesn't matter the amount of hours you are working per day, because you are working on a dream, that
Mm-hmm.
American dream that was sold to us. And I think Hollywood damaged us, honestly. I know it's cool to have a big project, and I know it's cool to, be part of something big, but life is not only about that. And I think it's a matter of time that people get to understand that, as it happened for me, for example. It's a matter of how your head is going to click with these issues. But I do think that we romanticize the idea of working all the time, and of not, taking a little break. It's okay to have a break. It's okay to go to the gym. It's okay to have, a wine on a Tuesday. We were talking about how having this is bad, but it's not bad. It's actually what's right or bad.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how this is going to make you feel. But to understand how activities or how certain actions are going to impact on your mind, you also have to have what you said before, that work life balance, and understand that work is not a balanced life. Like 100% work is not a balanced life. I also want to add that I don't understand the work life balance as life goes on that way, and life goes on this way. Like, work and life are not separated for me. In my case, I'm very lucky because at my company I can schedule my working hours, and it's super flexible. And we can work, for example, in the morning, and then you have all the evenings free for you, or the other way around. So what I do most of the times is I work in the morning, I get to go to the gym after lunch, and then I come back and I work a little bit more, and then I go to my project. So this is work life balance for me. It's not making work bad, nor free time bad. None of them is bad. Both are part of your life, and you have to make them go together. It's not like we are living separate lives. It's the
Mm,
same life, but we have to work on not being seated on a chair the whole day because we want to finish that project, and we want to meet that deadline, and we want to progress super fast, and not being aware of what is going on in the world. There is
yeah.
plenty of time. They say life is short, which I think it is, because all of a sudden I'm almost 30. But I did have a lot of time to do a lot of things, and I still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's true. And I loved actually one exercise that I did, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Basically, I put on my paper what I'm doing when I'm 50, like 50
Oh, cool.
years old. And basically, when I put on the paper, like what I have done in the past, what I did achieve, like how my day looks like.
Hmm.
And when I realized that actually a lot of things I'm doing today from that day, and that I don't need to rush because I really have like even like 20, 30 years more to actually
Hmm.
achieve a lot of things. And like that's exercise perfect me, like slowing me down and calming me down, like all is good, like you have time. But you know
Hmm.
what is happening, especially on the social media, LinkedIn, and like all these like social disasters that are happening to us. We are just seeing people are promoted, people have finished big projects, people are taking initiatives, people are so productive, take to-do lists. Nobody is talking about I'm having a shitty day again, I'm not productive again, I'm just like pushing myself to the limit again. Again, I destroy my mental health because that is something that we are facing on daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. But no one wants to speak about the bad things on social media. And that's, for example, something that made me close some of my social media for a while, because I didn't understand how life could always be so happy. It's not like that, or how life can always be so full of filters and perfect skin, perfect body. And social media for me are great because I'm from Romania, so I can connect with my family in an instant. I'm speaking to them, and it's amazing. And I remember when I arrived to Spain in 2006, we had to go to a store and buy like chips to go to the telephone and call. It was
Mm-hmm.
maybe you live that as well. So social media, they are absolutely great, but at the same time, they are super powerful with the messages we send. Luckily, nowadays, there are more and more, micro influencers and influencers and TV stars that show a real side of things. But it's still not enough, because if even myself knowing that, I just publish the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to cry over my social media. I cry, in my private room. But why, why having a filter on is needed? Why always showing a smile is needed? What's all that about, right? And I think that maybe I think that maybe more of these profiles are needed nowadays, to just show you
Mm-hmm.
that it's okay not to have a great day every day. It's okay to miss, the gym once in a while. It's okay to not be perfect with that deadline. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just a deadline. Your life is not going to end because of that.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to put our attention, our focus on something else.
Yeah. And I really love what you said, because it is okay. It's okay if we don't achieve our goals. If we are not getting what we wanted to get, like it doesn't matter if it's like in the career, job, project, any
Exactly.
kind of, it's okay. And
Hmm.
like definitely it's better to not get it than just like get it and get all the stress and like destroy your nervous system. um,
Yeah.
Even worse. But yeah, definitely that is something that I'm also like promoting, just like being vulnerable, because
Yeah.
I, even like for me, in the past years I was doing like all the good things on social media, you know, like when I'm traveling, when I'm going out, when all these things. And then I realized, yeah, I'm not putting when I'm down. And like usually most of days I'm down, like they are just like short periods of times when I'm just like hyperactive, so happy, like everything is perfect. But like majority of day, like I was like even just like stable, or I was crying, or like I was down. Um,
Hmm.
Now the things are a little bit different, because I practice a good feelings and like all these things, definitely that grow me into in the person that I'm today. And now I see actually being vulnerable to only way show people like how they can make it too.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, even I was seeing vulnerability as a weakness. Now I'm seeing that only as a strength.
Hmm.
So maybe that is like one of way like how people can encourage other people, like that's okay if you're having bad day, if you're crying, if you're just like starting your morning like in busy hectic environment, opening your emails and like seeing all these like disgusting emails and clients that we don't want to see, like in our life, especially between like 8 to 10 in the morning with our morning coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is
Well,
our, yeah.
this is something I do. I don't open my email until, a decent hour.
Yeah.
A decent time in the morning, because I don't want to, I start working slow, and because this is what is helping me to focus more, and this is going to help me get more done than, waking up, having my breakfast and coffee, and first thing, let's open the email. Maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be stressed for the rest of the day, or maybe I'm going to be angry or whatever, and I don't want that to be, my mood, because you set that mood in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I do start my mornings with a session of stretching, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, oh my God, this is so good. It's like, good morning, I have my breakfast, I go for my coffee, and then I start working. And that's perfect for me. I do wake at 6 a.m. in the morning, which is a little bit stressing. Well, it was at the beginning, because I was not a morning person, but
Mm-hmm.
then I started to be more and more in love with waking up early. Then I have an hour for myself, and I start working at 7 8 in the morning, and just get done the rest of my day. And with all this, what I want to also add is that, of course, we have to give like 100%, 200%, and there are moments when you have to struggle a little bit more, or do a little bit more. But that doesn't mean that you have to do that 100% of the time,
Mm-hmm.
because living like that is just going to burn you, like you are just going to be a living ghost or a living zombie. Like, I'm going to work, okay, fine. You are not going to be um happy, or you're not going to feel enthusiasm for your job. And I think we can prevent that very easily with just a couple of habits, or three, that you can just put them into your routine. Like, I don't start working until I had my cup of coffee. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that for me is just the best thing in the world. So
Yeah.
I start my day with the best thing in the world, right?
Yeah. And putting yourself in that kind of like stable, calm, very okay environment, and then
Mm-hmm.
opening a laptop, like, or like
Yeah.
working, even like what's better, working on task just like for 45 minutes, 1 hour, and then opening a laptop, because we are
Yeah.
so rushing into opening like these emails, even we know every day they are not going to say like how great we are, how great the SEO results. Like there is no any happy email there. Not a chance. 99%. Like every day we are not going to have that kind of like the email that make kind of like our day in that enthusiasm and like happy day. So why we are rushing to harm ourselves?
Mm. Yeah, well, from time to time, I do get, happy emails like, all this is just perfect. And it's like, oh my God, okay. Or maybe Google Search Console just sends me an email with, you had this much growth on this area. It's like, oh, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually it's just tasks that you have to go through, or maybe you have to deal with the client because, something happened on the website and it was the night, so you didn't fix it, of course, because you were
Mm-hmm.
sleeping, or a lot of things that can happen. And I learned that waking up and mm, opening the email and opening the laptop is not like the super best thing to do. So we have time to do that during the whole day. Why do it? Why rushing, right? As you
Yeah.
said. And another thing that I think it helps is to be a little bit in contact with the nature. That's why I have this plant over here.
Mm.
It helps me a lot to see that, well, it's a little bit of green. I have a nice working environment. I have candles. I love lighting candles that smell nice. Through my window, I can see a little bit, of the trees that come to my in my street. So it's just about the little things. Life is all about the little things, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I know it's great. I mean, I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg is actually super, super happy because he has to be super stressed as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's cool to be like him because he's super clever and he has a lot of money and success, and he invented something great and big and life changing. But not everyone is made for that, and it's okay. We don't have to all be Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or Oprah Winfrey.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain point when you realize that life is good the way it is.
Yeah.
And for example, that was something that happened to me because I was like, oh, I'm going to be the next Oprah. Yeah, this is going to be great. And then I realized when I had a little bit more of success that I didn't like it. So I was just like,
Oh,
okay, so
okay.
I want to go back, because I don't like being in the public eye, or I don't like being, I don't know what to say anymore, but
Getting
you
attention
you,
or
you
something
understand.
like that.
Getting attention, yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool for me to be, for example, invited as I am on this talk from time to time. It's okay, but I don't want to leave doing this.
Mm.
I want to be a little bit like more behind the scenes and work from home and do the things I like.
Yeah. And that's great that you know what you want and what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And you remind me on the one thing because in the couple of like past years, I was thinking it's so hard to be me, like with all these kinds of like, I don't know, like issues, like strugglings especially when you are a teenager and like you're thinking that all the world is just like punishing you and like everyone is evil
Yeah.
or something like that. And then I realized actually, the most easiest thing is just like being me, if the way in the way that I am, with a like super weird pronunciation of some English words, just like not preparing myself for some kind of like these kinds of talks or something like that. And it's just like that is like much more easier than I'm
Mhm.
pretending that I'm someone else who is just like super luxury, like super smart, like everything about this. And I realized, oh, that's nice. Like it's the easier just like to be myself, and like who likes, who doesn't like, that's his
Yeah, it's
problem. They can do that
okay.
on therapy. Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, you are going to connect by being you, and faking it is going to work for a while, but then you are going to be you and you are going to be discovered. And I think there's the time sometimes that comes the imposter syndrome. And I'm not talking like directly work related or capacities related, but your behavior. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
can feel like that because of an initial behavior that you had, like you wanted to be perfect at your new company,
Mm-hmm.
and feel that everybody, is going to like you because you never get mad or you never get stressed or whatever. And that's not the reality. I mean,
Yeah.
there are going to be stressful situations, and there are going to be moments when you are not super chill. It's fine. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
part of the job.
Yeah, because like in the end, people will see actually that you're just like people pleaser, and like we know that
Yeah,
all people pleasers are actually harming themselves the most. And in the
absolutely.
end of
Yeah.
the day, like we don't want to see these people pleasers because we know how hard is actually for them to live this life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not hard just because you please people, but it's hard because you can't find yourself. And that's
Mm,
the most important thing for us to have, to find and understand ourselves and be kind to ourselves and
yeah,
speak good to ourselves, because sometimes we're just like, "Oh, you made this mistake, you stupid person." I'm not
mm-hmm,
stupid. I made a mistake. What's the problem, you know? If
yeah.
I didn't make this mistake, I wouldn't be learning. So that's the best I can do for myself right now.
Yeah, and you would never tell these kinds of things like to your best friend, to your like sister, brother, like anyone. But and I'm guilty as charged. I'm like the hardest person on myself. And like when I see like how I did something, like I was like, can you see what you have done? Like, and all these things. And of course that I was putting even like bigger pressure on myself. And I was afraid of making mistake because I knew like what I will do to myself, like nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
100%. Yes.
yeah, I really love what you mentioned, like being kind to ourselves and like, and
Mhm.
even we are making mistakes, just like, okay, understand why we did this, because like definitely there is a kind of like reason why we did it. And
There's
when
always.
you discover that reason, then you are growing, and then
Mhm.
you are able to even make a bigger mistakes, and like then you will also grow faster and much more. You will become like much more like bigger person from these mistakes if you understand why you are doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really want to be super focused and enthusiastic and loving about the idea of taking care of yourself, and also making making mistakes. I mean, that for me is the way you can learn. It's the only way you can learn, by trying stuff and I don't know if you can say bad words here, but
Yeah, you can say yeah,
destroying.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by fucking everything up.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you start again, because if you are not doing it, if you're not trying, if you only know the theory about something but you don't put it in practice,
Mm,
you never put it in practice, then it's going to be useless. You are not go you don't know nothing. You know how to you can make a great speech and maybe teach some lessons, but you are never going to be able to actually prove what you know. It's just
mm,
theory that everyone can find on the internet. So for me, I feel super lucky because at all my jobs I was able to try and make errors and try again and testing, and there was never, a bad word about, hey, you did this thing and it was, like shit or whatever. I was so lucky with that, and I still am. And that's the good stuff about, the startup environment. It has a lot
mm,
of very, very stressful things, but at the same time it has a lot of very good stuff,
yeah.
and that's for me the best one.
Yeah. And when we are talking about mistakes, the great thing that I have learned from my mindset coach is actually, okay, I will limit myself on 25 mistakes per week. So whenever I do mistake, like in a day, like, okay, that's a mistake, but I have like 24 mistakes more to do like in this week. And then like whenever I'm doing like this, okay, like I'm totally fine with that because I didn't reach my 25 mistakes limit for this week. And like that is just like calming me down because I allowed myself to do like 25 mistakes.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a great option. I mean, for me, something that I'm maybe happy with or proud of is that I can make as many mistakes as I want, and it's just fine, you know.
Oh, nice. You
This
you
is
can do more
yeah,
mistakes than me then.
yeah. But that's why I mean, in my family and with my boyfriend, in at my job, they always allowed me to make mistakes. So it's
Mm.
about how you grow up as well, right? For example, at school, they didn't allow me to make as many mistakes. So you know, I finally learned that making mistakes is bad and whatever. But then I got to the university where making mistakes was okay, so I was okay again, you know. And um, I love that I'm able to make those mistakes and not feel guilty about them or not feeling stupid about them. It's just, you know, part of life. And for sure I'm super lucky, and I know that because it comes with the bringing up, the raising, you know, the education you receive,
Mhm.
the opportunities they give you at work. All that is super super important,
Yeah.
and I had all that.
You brought a great point because in mistakes, there is a brain pattern. Whenever we do mistake, we will be punished. Because in the
Mhm.
school, especially, and someone with a kind of like a usually like my parents were strict, and I know if I make mistake, like I will be punished. So creating like these patterns like through the schools, like whenever you make mistake, like your grade will be one down, another mistake one grade down. We are now having that brain pattern that we are bringing to our SEO job. If we make a mistake, we are going to be punished,
Yeah,
and that creates even that it's not true, because even we are making mistakes like in our life, that doesn't mean that we will be punished. And like
hmm,
what's the punishment, like we will not be fired or like something like that, but even like that is stressing ourselves like on daily basis, or you can't make any mistakes like on the meetings. You
yeah,
can say something to the client, be very careful what you are writing in the email, and then like we are living our lives just to not make mistake.
yeah,
And when you know like what's the funniest thing, even when you do a mistake, you see like that is not kind of like, I don't know, they will not say like I what can say like. And that was like the craziest thing that I have experienced when I actually make a bigger mistake in my job at that time. Like I was leading like PPC budgets,
hmm,
and I spent more than I was allowed, and I was thinking like what will happen now.
hmm.
And then client said like, yeah, that's fine, like that is like for this month. I was like, what, you're not going to punish me or like
Yeah, to
do
fire me or
something?
something.
Yeah, or like tell my manager or like said some bad words. I was like, no way. Yeah. And that was like
Yeah.
the mind-blowing thing.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the client because you had the chance to understand that sometimes it doesn't matter, and most of the time it doesn't matter. But you know, there are some clients that could have been a little bit harsh on you because of that, or I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe speak to your boss as you said, or whatever. But most of the times, people are people as well, and they understand
Mm-hmm.
that we make mistakes. And a good piece of advice that I received, it was go to the truth. Like when you think something or you overthink something or you think that maybe that's going to end your career, because you know that happens a lot, at least
Mm-hmm.
in the SEO world, you overthink stuff. Just go to what is the true, and you have a great example to put in practice with this client. For example, when you think you made a huge mistake or whatever, just think about that client and maybe understand that this can happen again and it's fine.
Yeah,
And yeah.
because true, that's the reality. but we
Mm-hmm.
tend to overthink because in that
Absolutely.
way, our brain is thinking that is protecting us if we
Mm-hmm.
overcome all the craziest, like the top 100 situation, what can happen. And
Yeah.
like we are feeling much more safer because like we made like 100 like case studies, like what can be if they say something, and like if they say that, like I will say this, like, and all these things. And in the end of that day, we are more tired about
Mhm.
that thinking what can be than actually the amount of time we have worked on our tasks.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, life is so much simpler.
Mm,
It's much, much simpler than that. And I try to understand that people don't have like bad intentions or whatever. This is maybe just my mind tricking me. And I mean, this was something, well, in school, I suffered bully. So I was bullied. So it was easy for me to think that everyone was bad, you know? And
mm-hmm,
then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago, I realized it's not like that. Life is much simpler. You don't have to think about all the, custom made scenarios that are in your mind. It's okay to give yourself to allow yourself to think for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, but then just cut it. It's like it's not worth it. But this is something that is just going to you are going to play with these ideas a lot until you realize how life is so simple, and
mm,
sometimes we just want, or we just like to complicate it.
yeah.
A good therapist is also very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And usually when I catch myself that I'm overthinking, honestly,
Mhm.
I'm trying to explain myself like, hey, I know that you are worried about this thing, you think that it will happen, but we are aware, like we are smart to think and like see that like even we are making mistakes, even we didn't do some job in the way someone was supposed to like do it, like that in the end we will be okay. And
Yeah,
just like explaining
100% yes.
ourselves, like I totally understand you that you are feeling in this way, especially in the past situations, like you have experienced some bad things, but also that doesn't need to matter that we will experiencing the same, or like even we are experiencing the same, like now we are much more stronger to actually handle it in the another way.
Hmm. Yes, I do
All
agree
right.
with that, and I love that you bring it to life as
Mm.
well. It's very,
And do
very
you
nice.
think that there is anything else that we need to cover in today's topic?
I don't really think so. We spoke about a lot of things. I think there are a lot of tricks to, uh, you know, take into consideration. Also, I would like to tell people to stretch in the morning is the best therapy you can find.
Mm-hmm.
This is something good, so good. And go for a long walk and have that dinner with your boyfriend or your partner or your family or that old friend you haven't seen in a while. And I don't know, if you want to save time, something that has helped me
Mm-hmm.
to keep myself fit is having a treadmill, and I work at the same time I'm walking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's something that helps my brain to be entertained and happy at the same time. And I don't know, buy yourself, as Miley Cyrus would say, buy yourself some flowers and
Yeah.
some candles, and go on a date or do whatever you want, but live life, because work, it's not your life, like,
Yeah.
at all. It's part of it, but it's not 100% of it.
I would, the only thing that I would add is actually what helped me a lot is actually buying small, for example, toys that I wanted when I was a kid.
Oh, that's so nice.
And just recently, I bought Blade, and that is a thing that you
Yeah.
like put and like then like in the circles, and like usually that had like boys in my hometown where I'm just like
Hmm.
currently, and I was a girl and like I couldn't get that because that was like boy too, boy.
Toy,
play
yeah.
toy, that is a word that I'm looking for. And when I bought that maybe 1 month ago, and I was just like running that like in my room, it was like so kind of like a relief and like healing my inner
Yeah.
child.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was about to say. Your inner child, your
yeah.
inner girl was super
Hmm.
happy.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's
okay.
so nice. That's so cute. I love it.
All right, nice. If you have any questions, Sharon is here with us. Let us know if you have maybe any questions, if you have any struggles that maybe you would like to get some answers, let us know. If not, that's totally fine. Uh, okay, Adelina, thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it, and definitely that is something that also people who are watching this will enjoy as well. You brought so much value to here. So
Thank
very
you.
nice meeting you and having you in the SEO Happy Hour.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a wonderful time and a wonderful conversation. Thank you,
Thank
thank you.
you. Thank you so much, and probably we will see you in the one of the maybe next year episodes.
Sure.
Okay, that's it, and have a great evening.